Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. It is Monday, December 6th. It's a great day to be an Elkhart Rotarian. Thank you all for being here, braving what is appearing to now be snow outside, sort of snow. So it's beautiful. It'll be beautiful for at least another week, I'm sure. I'm here. I am recording. Thank you for the reminder. And I would like to welcome Sherm to come on up and say a few words. You're looking like this was not on my schedule today. Would you like to make it a part of your schedule? Or is there anyone else who would like to lead us in the invocation, pledge, and four-way test? And Scott Puckett is all over it. Sorry, Sherm, I should have confirmed with you. You're not quite as random.
Lord, we're grateful people. We have more than we need. We see people around us in our community that do not. Father, give us opportunities to be generous and share with an abundant heart. Lord, we thank you for Rotary and the way that you have used this club to bless thousands of people all over the community, all over the world. May we continue to do so. And we thank you for this wonderful season that we are enjoying. Amen. Join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. And the four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to
all right, thank you, Scott. Sorry again, Sherm. I need to make sure I reach out to folks, make sure they know they're on the calendar or that someone put them on the calendar. Gotcha. Taking care of a little business here. There we go. Yes. Okay. Also, I want to thank David. Thank you for putting up the banners this morning and for moving things around a little bit. It's always good for us to get in the habit of not taking things for granted. I'm not sure if that's kind of an oxymoron or not, to get used to something moving around. All right. David Tony, will you please come up and welcome our visiting Rotarians and guests?
Yeah, we have a visiting Rotarian this morning, Doug Grant. We have two guests. Bill, you want to introduce Bill Templin? You want to introduce your guests? And we have Shelley Baker from Loveway here to speak here also this morning.
Excellent, thank you, David. Welcome, Shelley, and welcome, Tom. It's nice to see you when it's not 20 degrees and raining and snowing. Tom helps us out a lot at Wellfield. If you've been to Holiday Lights, you've probably seen Tom out front with a great green hat, welcoming people as they come in. Okay, let's see. If you have announcements, please come forward. And while you are doing so, I just wanted to make note of some important dates we've got coming up. So this Friday, December 10th, we are doing restaurant fundraising. Pete, are you here? Anything we want to, what's the deal on that? Perfect. Pete will be making sure that he makes some calls this week to let everyone know the schedule if you'd like to join and help raise money for the Salvation Army. Army bell ringing, it's coming up Saturday. Paul's going to say a little more about that. Boot Lake Service Project, if you're not ringing bells, we'd love it if you went out and helped remove some invasive trees and other vines from the Boot Lake Nature Preserve. That would be awesome. Upcoming schedule for Noon Division. Next week, right here in this room, we'll have our joint meeting with the Elkhart Kiwanis Club. Smaller club, but it'd be great to have them here. We'll have some actually some social time that day, as well as a joint sergeanting. It'll actually end up, I think, being 3 sergeants. So we'll have Dave Digert and Bill Burton from our group and Steve Brown from the Kiwanis Club. We'll have some good, fun, entertaining sergeanting. So that should be fun. I look forward to that. By the way, Matterhorn folks, love the decorations. It's really nice. We were able to get the tree in the background here, the wreaths on the sides. Looks fantastic. Okay. We will not have a board meeting this month. And just a reminder on our schedule, we're actually going to be off December 20th, December 27th for the holidays, and we'll actually be off January 3rd as well, returning on January 10th. So after next Monday, we'll have a 3-week hiatus from Noon Division and then back on January 10th. Just a reminder on Rotary dues. I've been talking with our treasurer, thank you, Jim, and Marie, and we actually have 39 of our members who have outstanding balances. So pay your bills, pay your bills. We appreciate you being a part of Rotary. Rotary International appreciate you being part of Rotary. Check online. And if you need help with that, it's so easy to do online. I can help you. I actually just paid this morning the invoice that I got from the social event that we had last Monday. It was literally that quick. It was something very, very easy to do through Club Runner. You can pay your dues through that just as easily. And all right, come on up.
All right, for the bell ringing, this year it's going to be a little bit different. We're not going to have a meeting place. You don't have to pick up anything. You don't have to drop off anything. Salvation Army is going to take care of all of the details. All you have to do is show up at your time slot and ring bells until the next person shows up. So it should be a lot easier this year. You know, with people still getting sick, we've decided to not do the social side of it and just kind of keep it simple this year. I have one spot left open. I have one location and time that has nobody ringing at it. And that's Walgreens on Bristol Street from 11 to 1. So if anybody is interested in filling that last spot, please let me know. As a second announcement, the student exchange program that Rotary hosts is a go for next year, at least at the moment. Couple of years ago, when we looked at it, we had 2 families, maybe 3 that were interested. So kind of repolling the club and seeing who has interest coming up for the next school year of potentially hosting a foreign exchange student. Goal is to have about 3 families, so the students will be with each for 3 to 4 months. Let me know if you're interested and appreciate the time.
Hey, we had our first marketing committee meeting in almost 2 years today. So I'm still looking for people to be a part of the marketing committee. If you would like to be, just let me know, please. And even if you are not, as you're out at Boot Lake volunteering or county road cleanup or Salvation Army bell ringing, any of those events, we don't have any pictures of Thirsty Thursdays. We don't have pictures of the 5th Monday. So anything that you have, please send pictures our way. Don't forget that we have, and it's been a long time, but we have an email address, elkhartnoonrotary@gmail.com, or you can send them to me. And if you'd like to join the marketing committee, I still need people that would post on Facebook and also photographers that would be willing to take pictures at meetings and events. So hit me up.
Thanks, Aaron. Remind me, I've got a couple pictures of someone singing at the Monday night. It's not me. It went great. It went great. Julie did a fantastic job coordinating and sort of facilitating the evening. Nice job, Julie. Everyone, round of applause for Julie. Okay. I would like to welcome Shelley Becker, the Executive Director of Loveway, up to give us just a really brief update on their grant. You'll recall back a few months ago, we gave not-for-profit partners in the community some grant funds, and Loveway was one of those recipients. We'd love to just hear how things are going with us, Shelley. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Thanks for having me today. I was looking back on our donor files, and it has been 20 years that you've been partnering with Loveway, and I think that that is so amazing. So back in 2001 is the first time that you gifted to us, and I wish that we had files that went back that far, but if you've ever been to Loveway, you know we're lucky that we have a computer. So I would love to be able to share with you how many kiddos we have served since then. But what I can tell you is starting this last fall, we had 156 kiddos from the schools come through our doors. And that is the most we have ever seen in the 13 years I have been with Loveway. And so I think we are definitely at the top of our capacity right now. But we're only able to do that because of friends like you supporting us. So thank you so much. We right now are serving 16 schools in Elkhart County, and we actually have 16 on a waiting list. Unfortunately, there's just only so much room in the school day to get schools in. So hopefully you will be, I know you will be hearing from us soon. We're getting ready to put together a capital campaign. And it's time for Loveway to grow. We've been here for almost 50 years, and with the amount of need that is in this community for what we're doing, we feel like we're not fulfilling our mission unless we are able to serve everybody who truly needs our organization. So thank you so much for partnering with us. If I could just share with you what our greatest need is right now, it's volunteers. I think that that's everybody's greatest need in the community. Most definitely for Loveway. It takes anywhere from 1 to 3 individuals to volunteer to be with a student for everyone that walks through our doors. So right now, I would say as we're getting ready to start our second session, which will be on January 3rd, we're about 40 volunteers short. And so if you know of anybody that you think would love to hold the hand of a child for about an hour and a half once a week and walk around the arena, we would love to talk to them. So again, thank you so much for holding our program close in your heart. Is there anybody that has any questions about Loveway and what we do? I feel like when I come, you guys have a really good idea. Of course, we're therapeutic equestrian services, and I'm not sure if you guys, if everyone here does know, but all the schools that we serve come completely for free. All we ask is that they provide the transportation. And as I'm sure you're probably aware, transportation's a little tricky these days, but we're making it happen. So yes, any questions at all? Well, thank you again. Thank you again for partnering with us. It really does take a village. I know Loveway's kind of off the map, and so, you know, we're not a drive-by. You guys don't see us very often, but we're working hard and we're serving the kiddos in our community that have a diagnosed special need, and we can only do that because of you. So thank you.
Thanks, Shelley. We appreciate that. And I think too, I appreciate you saying that as another not-for-profit leader, that volunteerism, it's such a huge piece. And I think a lot of times people are, you know, thinking what they're able to give, you know, monetarily. Sometimes it's simpler than that. And yet volunteering is one of the greatest things that you can give. It's a challenging thing. So thank you for mentioning that. All right, we have a new member induction today. I would like to introduce and welcome to the podium Jameson Sarnecki. And Jameson and I have been talking for the last quite a few months on this, and I've gotten to know Jameson. I think I met you in 2015 when I 17 at Wellfield for an event. And ever since, I've just appreciated seeing what Jameson's done in the community, both as the manager at the Elkhart Environmental Center, and now more recently, although it's probably been now a year, right? Yep, a year, is the superintendent of the city of Elkhart Parks and Recreation, which is fantastic. And all the cool things that you're going to be seeing the Parks and Rec doing and the public programs for the city, Jameson likely has a hand in that, as well as his great team. So come on up over here, Jameson, on the other side, and we'll do I have a cool script that Jim Rickoff, you're not here, right? I looked for you. So we have a membership. Let's see how we do this. Let's get us going. We have a membership committee who recommended. So membership. Membership in this Rotary Club. We've invited you to join us because we believe that will enrich our conversation, and that your energy will help us achieve our goals. We also which will improve our club, join this club, but rather seriously, if you are willing to make that now,
I will.
fantastic.
And
Welcome
thank
to
you.
the Elkhart. And just so you know, and I know everyone got these in here, but you get this really cool plaque. It's the object of Rotary. We have a Rotary Basics little book for you, as well as every Rotarian every year information. And the tiniest and yet probably the coolest little thing is this little lapel pin. And so how many Rotarians have their lapel pins on today? Terry Rickle, you might be fine free for the day. We'll see if how the sergeant feels about that. This is sometimes a finable offense, and now our sergeant today has some great ammo to get some money from us. So we'll get those packaged up for you. Tell us a little about yourself.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Jameson Zarnicki. As Eric stated, we reconnected in 2017. I'm originally from Elkhart. I left here when I was about 18, 19, and I took off for a program called AmeriCorps NCCC, kind of like Domestic Peace Corps, if you guys have ever heard of it. Based out of Vicksburg, Mississippi, I traveled around the country for a couple of years, and I met a girl, and I followed her out to California. And so I went to school at University of California, Santa Cruz out there, and so I was there for about 8 years. And after a short stint in South America, I came back just to visit family before our next adventure, and the position opened up at the EEC. I actually met Eric volunteering at EnviroFest that was held at the Wellfield Botanic Garden, and so we connected over those late night hours. I think we left there that night at 2 a.m. and so showcases Eric's energy for a long time now, and I was just getting started, but I had no idea that that night or that day would lead to where we are now. And I've been privileged to take on the opportunity at the Environmental Center and get to work in my hometown, and then was privileged enough to be offered the position at the City Park Department. And so it's been a whirlwind of a year. I don't ever want to come into a position during a pandemic again, like many of us. I don't think any of us want to live through another pandemic again. But with it, it's been a wonderful opportunity. There's a lot of momentum in Elkhart. I'm personally super grateful to be able to live and hang out and do work in my community. And I know there's a number of people here that have been doing a lot of powerhouse work for a long time. And so I'm excited to be a part of that. I chose Rotary Club. I've been shopping around at civic clubs. I was a junior optimist club when I was a kid. And I just find that there's a lot of energy in this room, and much like Elkhart as a whole, there's something happening here in this club, and I want to be a part of it. So I'm excited to join you guys, and look forward to getting to know each and every one of you. Thank you.
All right, excellent. Well, welcome, Jameson. I'm really excited to have you as a part of the club. And as I said, there's a lot of little things that I've observed just in my short period of time here in Elkhart that Jameson has been a part of. And he's got a lot of energy, and I really appreciate that. And he does things for the right reasons. And I think that's why he's going to make a great Rotarian with us here. So we'll have opportunities for you to get involved right away, and we hope you'll take advantage of that. Okay. We had mentioned we had Shelley from Loveway up here. I would love to welcome today Sergeant Bill Reith, who's going to help extract some funds before we go on to our program.
Thank you, Eric, and thank you for just addressing the fact that wreaths are beautiful. I appreciate that. So thank you very much for that. And Jameson, welcome to the club. So we'll immediately, this is your first chance to get fined. If you don't want to wear the pin, we have kind of a back room there where you could actually get the Rotary insignia tattooed right up here. So if you want to do that for today, another day, that would be fine. So, and to Terry for wearing her pen, I'm sorry, we need the money. So no grace to you there. So I hope you all had a very happy Thanksgiving. And I don't know, with all the festivities going on, if you had a chance to read the paper, I saw these really interesting articles in November. It says a turkey was arrested. He was suspected of foul play. And in another story, a turkey got into a fight. The paper reports he had the stuffing knocked out of him. So if you either laughed or groaned at one of these articles here, then please put in a buck. So as you can tell from what I'm going to say, even though Thanksgiving is past, I'd like to share with you some little known Thanksgiving trivia for your edification, mental stimulation, and intellectual growth. So in November of 1621, the Pilgrims' first corn harvest was proved to be so successful that Governor William Bradford invited the Plymouth colonists, Native American allies, to enjoy the fruits of their labor. Members of the Wampanoag tribe came bearing food to share. They had so much bounty that the participants decided to extend the event to 3 days, much longer than our typical celebration today of 1 day. And while most of us at a feast at just 1 day versus 3 days, while most of us enjoy a turkey or a ham as the centerpiece, no one could really say for sure what was on the menu back in 1621, but probably not a turkey or a ham. However, what they believe the original guests did indulge in were lobster, seal, and swan. And the Wampanoag also reportedly brought 5 deer to the meal. So if you served lobster, seal, venison, or swan this year as the centerpiece of your Thanksgiving dinner, then you don't need to put in a buck. But if those weren't at the centerpiece of your Thanksgiving meal, then please put in a buck. If you want to see what Thanksgiving was really like back in the 1600s, the historic attraction, Plymouth Plantation in Plymouth, Massachusetts, is a great place to visit. Actually, my wife and I, we like history. We actually went there on our honeymoon. It recreates the original colony with houses in a Wampanoag village. You can even celebrate Thanksgiving at the site, which includes traditional foods, not any swan or any seal, but some fish and corn pudding. And you can participate in some traditional games the colonists would have played, like singing, lawn bowling, which was popular back in the 1600s, and riddle guessing. My wife and I, we had the chance, we visited there to participate in some of these activities, including riddling, which was very popular in the 1600s. And so here's a riddle from the 1600s. Let's see if anybody here could solve this to save you all a buck. True riddle from the 1600s. What does a rich man keep and a poor man throw away? What does a rich man keep but a poor man throw away? It's hard to conceptualize in our day and age, but back at that time, only rich people had handkerchiefs. So a rich man would keep something and a poor man would get rid of it. So if you weren't able to answer that riddle correctly, then please put in a buck. Some more exciting trivia. I want to talk a little bit about Sarah Hale. She was a writer and an editor, and she is largely responsible for us having the national holiday of Thanksgiving. Back in the 1800s, she spent 30 years petitioning for Thanksgiving to become a national holiday. Her efforts continue to increase as the divisions between the North and South increased. She wanted some way to bring us together to prevent the Civil War. Unfortunately, her efforts were unsuccessful, but she kept writing. And in 1863, President Lincoln made Thanksgiving an official holiday. And she earned the name of Mother of Thanksgiving. But you may know Sarah Hale for another reason, a song that you probably have sung. She was a poet, and some of her poems were turned into songs. Sarah Hale is also the author of Mary Had a Little Lamb. So if you're grateful for Thanksgiving, or if you've ever sung Mary Had a Little Lamb, then put in a buck. In 1953, the Swanson Food Company, one of their employees accidentally ordered a colossal shipment of Thanksgiving turkeys, way more than they needed to distribute to the nation. They ordered so many turkeys to sell that at the end of Thanksgiving, they had 260 tons of frozen turkeys left over. What are you going to do with 260 tons of frozen turkeys? So they went around to the employees, asked if they had any ideas. And a salesman by the name of Jerry Thomas, he thought about a recent plane flight he'd had on an airplane where they had served him a meal in an aluminum tray. So he said, well, let's take the turkey and let's add some dressing to it, some gravy, some peas, and sweet potatoes, and let's freeze that and let's serve that to the public. And you know what was popular in 1953 and just coming into vogue? It was TV. So they called this a TV dinner, and they sold it for 98 cents. And it proved to be a big hit. So if you ever had a TV dinner, how many of you had, or you've ever eaten while watching TV, then please put in a buck. The Butterball Turkey Talk Line answers almost 100,000 calls, chats, and texts each Thanksgiving season. So many people roast a big bird just once a year, and understandably, because of this, they need a little extra help. No question is too silly or strange for the heroes on the other end of those chats, texts, and calls. So here's a sample of some of the calls and questions they've gotten. A woman in her late 70s was cooking Thanksgiving dinner for the first time. She called for help because her mother said that she was tired of cooking Thanksgiving dinner. It was about time that she learned. A woman called the Butterball helpline, wondering why the meat had disappeared from her turkey after cooking it. She said there was no breast meat. After a conversation with the talk line operator, it became apparent that the woman's turkey was lying on the table upside down. And a gentleman called the Butterball line to tell the operator he had cut his turkey in half with a chainsaw and wanted to know if the oil from the chain would adversely affect the turkey. So if you've ever needed help cooking a turkey or making a dish, then put in a buck. And finally, this Thanksgiving, my wife, she looked at me, she said, honey, you know, you've got to stop telling all these kind of not so funny Thanksgiving jokes. And I told her, I'm sorry, but I can't stop cold turkey. So if you haven't maxed out, please do so.
That was a great program, Bill. Thank you. Yeah, that's good. All right. I want to thank Julie Cotton. We had a cancellation in our speaker lineup, some extenuating family circumstances with our previous speaker. And Julie was able to reach out to a friend who is actually going to be presenting to us from Dallas. She's there doing a conference, and I'm going to have Julie introduce her, and then we're going to work our multimedia magic and get her right here in front of us.
Thank you so much. All right, I'm super excited to share with all of you a very dear friend of mine. Her name is Orly Moore. She's a very amazing human being, up to a lot of things on the planet. As you will hear shortly, one of her projects that she's focused on now. I'll just tell you a little bit about Orly. She is an internationally known speaker, mentor, and author of several books. She's the founder of the Health and Wellness Network of Commerce and the Social Wow Factor Conference. Soon after earning both an MBA and law degrees, she dedicated her life and career to creating prosperity by helping others realize their own mission-based goals and dreams. Extensive experience as a certified behavior analyst has made her indispensable as a coach to many influential corporate leaders. Despite impressive education and success as a businesswoman, Orly remains remarkably humble, authentic, and very engaging as a speaker. She has taught many speakers how to really impact the world through their messaging. And Orly, up on screen, my dear, is here to speak with us today about her passion project. Where is your screen? On video, Orly?
I'm on video.
Oh, I hear you.
And I can hear you.
Oh my gosh, this is so exciting.
All right. Are we good to go?
Boom.
There we are. Okay.
All right. Orly, take it away.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. It's amazing because I spoke at so many Rotary clubs in Florida when I was living there for 10 years. And so this is kind of like warms my heart. I just became an American citizen on the 15th of July. Nobody can be prouder to be an American citizen. I have fought for it for so long. And since I was 14 years old, I wanted to be an American. So I am glad to be here. And I'm in Dallas, as Julie mentioned, and Andy. Thank you so much for having me. So I'm a business coach for public speakers, and the way that people know me is that I help speakers make $150,000 their first year of public speaking, and I actually walk them through it, and I hold their hand until they do. But you know what? Impact for me is so important, and I am actually putting my information in the chat so you guys can access it later or give it to everybody. You can just text the word impact 200 to 55312, and then you will have everything about me and you'll have contact with me if you like. Now, impact is so important. I know that all of you are making an impact right now by belonging to an organization that actually helps people. Well, making an impact takes influence, and taking influence, you need to know more people. It is just the way it works, right? But there's a huge problem in our world and in our country about human trafficking. So you might have heard of human trafficking. You might have seen some really bad stuff about human trafficking, but all of it is true. And that is because this evil has been existing for a very long time on our planet. I only came to know it in 2015. I do conferences on cruise ships, and so people were coming on my cruise ship to speak to my audience. And one of the speakers was Alexa Oliva. She's the founder of Motivational Missions, which is teaching kids in other countries, underdeveloped countries, that their circumstance is not their future, which is amazing. But at the end of the day, also teaching them the skill set that they need to have in order to survive and thrive and not being a victim of human trafficking and labor slavery. Now, this is existing in our country as well as other countries. Now, as a speaker, I've been around the world. I've spoken in 27 countries in 18 states. And I can tell you that there's nothing more disheartening than to see the poverty and the well-being of people getting shattered by media and by governments. So it's not just here, it's everywhere. And for me, in 2015 was a big rude awakening to what is really human trafficking. In 2020, however, one of my friends came to New York. I was living in New York at the time. And she told me about what was going on. What is this political arena? I'm not political, so I really don't care. But what is really happening in the world? And that is one of the things that, you know, the media is not talking about. People are not talking about. They want to put their blinders off, but we cannot put our blinders any longer. So my pet project, if you will, in February of 2021, I decided that I want to help the rescuers of these victims to have somewhere to bring them. So I'm building healing centers for the rescued victims of human trafficking, sex and labor slavery, to give them back their God-given right to life, freedom, education, and autonomy. Now, what does that mean to you? Well, you know what? If you're not a part of the solution, you're a part of the problem, whether you like it or not, whether it's this organization or another, because you might be giving to other nonprofit organizations, and that's okay, as long as you are helping someone. We started what is called the Be the Light movement, where our lunches are being given all over the country and all over the world about just educating people on how to collaborate with other nonprofits. This is how we're going to make a difference. This is not about our politicians. This is about our rightful way of living, and which is freedom. That's why we belong to this country. Our flag that you have there is so important. You know that when I got sworn in as an American citizen, they didn't let us do the Pledge of Allegiance in front of the flag. I was so heartbroken by that. So I was speaking, and as I speak across the country, as Julie Cotton said, I was going to speak in San Diego, California. And when we started the conference, the organizer said, "Hey, Orly, can you start us off?" And I said, "Absolutely." So it was my goal to get everybody to stand up and do the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. That is something that I've rehearsed for many years, because I knew that one day I will be an American citizen and I will say the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, and I will know how to say it so amazingly. And I got 150 people to actually stand up, whatever their political background is, whatever their belief system is, no matter what. Everybody loves to do the Pledge of Allegiance. They took it out of the ceremony for becoming an American citizen. That broke my heart. And that's what also breaks my heart with human trafficking. These kids have been abducted by the age of 10 to 14. This is where they really, really attack. All these perpetrators, that's where they abduct these children between the age of 10 and 14. So watch your children. They're taking them at Walmart's, broad daylight. There is things happening right now in this country that are horrible, and we need to stop it. It's up to us. It's not up to our politicians. I'm not even talking to politicians. The point here is that we need to take action with the private sector. So what I created is youaremylightfoundation.org, and we are building these healing centers because all these rescues that are being made are now those children that grew up. They're between the ages of 18 to 30, and they don't have anywhere to go. The problem is that when they do rescue them, the people who rescue them have nowhere to put them, such as orphanages if they're the kids, or maybe there's foster care, where foster care is actually where it all starts. Human slavery and sex slavery is in those homes, maybe not in yours. I'm just saying, if you are a foster parent, it doesn't mean that because in your house it doesn't happen, that it doesn't happen anywhere else, but it is where it starts. So I am going to tell you that these children now grew up, they're 18 years old, they're put to the streets, they have nowhere to go, and those other shelters and so on cannot deal with them because they have a deficiency, which is what you know it as multiple personality disorder. And that's basically, it's DID. The condition is DID, dissociative identification disorder. And so what we want to do is make sure that these shelters know how to treat them. But since they don't, and it's not treatable, it's not curable, what happens is that they get misassessed, misdiagnosed, and misdrugged. So they die from the drugs, drug overdose. Some because they've already been drugged by their perpetrators to do what they do. And or they put them in the streets because they're over 18. Where are you going to put them anyways? They're adults, they can go. And so they go into prostitution or selling drugs, that they get caught by the cops, they put them in jail, and in jail they get misassessed, misdrugged, and misdiagnosed. And what happens is that either they die from the drugs or they go crazy and they put them in the psychiatric ward where they actually commit suicide. The lifespan of a rescued victim is 7 days. 7 days. This is horrifying. Not only were they abducted between the age of 10 and 14, where they missed out on all of their childhood, the fun, the creativity, the schooling, the friendships, everything they could have done. They now have to deal with being 18, 20, getting out there in the world, not being able to find a job, being re-exploited. So You Are My Light Foundation is building those healing centers, but not only the healing part. The healing part is detoxification. The next part is creativity, fun, enjoying just life and being safe for a change, and having a good meal and a good shower and have a good bed. And then also teaching them a trade where they can become entrepreneurs and never be exploited again. They can learn something that can make them money, and they can just become entrepreneurs and fend for themselves. And when they feel safe enough, when they feel educated enough, when they have done their work, we will not let them out until they feel safe enough to go out there into the world. So the centers are so important for these people. And there's many, many, many rescues that are happening right now. I am not involved in the part of the rescue. I just know of them. I am not a part of doing the identification part, but what I am a part is the healing part. And I know that I could do my part in this world. My goal is to impact the lives of 200 million people by 2025. And if we could do it, we can only do it together. So if you have any questions for me, I'd like to keep on time. I love it when, I used to speak at Kiwanis and Rotary clubs and so on. They gave me 18 minutes and they used to dong this bell. And so I don't want my bell to be rang. So I'm going to ask you, if you have any questions for me, please put them in the chat. And if you want to get in touch with me, you can go to youaremylightfoundation.org, and or you can text impact 200 to 55312. I'd love to hear from you.
Thank you, Orly. And we have about 50 people in the room here in front of you. I'm sorry we couldn't show you that. I could pick up the.
That's okay.
You might get sick if I pick this up. Are there any questions from us here in the room for Orly? And I want to say congratulations on the citizenship. That's
Thank you.
That's really cool. It's been fun reading and learning about you online, and you definitely talk about energy. You've got some energy.
Yeah, I get that a lot. That's awesome.
Any questions from the room? Oh, sorry, Andy. Andy was asking about the cruise business, wondering to what extent that's sort of back online right now.
Well, I am not vaccinated, so I would like to see a cruise line that would let people who are not vaccinated or vaccinated to come on board. And so we have been doing these cruises since 2012. And of course, 2020 and 2021 were a flop, if you will. And so we hope that by next year we can get back to doing a cruise. It's a cruise conference. It's called Social Wow Factor. And you can actually go to the website, socialwowfactor.com, and watch some videos from our past events. We've been doing them. It's amazing. Now, the cruise industry, there are some that are allowing non-vaccinated people. We just hope that we can bring our whole conference on ships. So we love doing those, definitely. It's not for everyone. I see a question online. What are the numbers for victims in the US? There are 40 there's 40 million in the world. In the United States, there are a certain hubs that you need to be aware of, like Nevada, Chicago, Florida, San Diego, California is, I think, number 6 or 7 on the platform. Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, Texas is number 10. So there are so many hubs. There is the numbers in the United States alone are very high, in the 40 million people. Also, we have a lot of people. The statistics are always changing, so it's a bigger number than what's online, and that's because many are not being reported. But we have a huge problem in the United States.
Thank you for that, and thanks, Andy, for the Randy for the question. Any other questions here from the room? And I'd say certainly no one in here would argue that all of the points that you have about this being a pretty serious issue, and I am finding more awareness locally right here in Elkhart. I know that I heard a presentation at the Concord Rotary Club. My goodness, what's the Destiny Rescue, and also a place where my son went to school when we first got here. Come on, somebody who, Basher, thank you. Basher also has now a person dedicated to human trafficking. So that's something that's being done right here.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Orly, thank you for taking the time to join us today. And thank you for sharing your passion. And I'm sure we've got your information, and we'll share that with others, as well as this recording will be put on our website. So
thank you.
I want to thank you for coming, and everyone, please a big virtual or in-person round.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Have a good one.
Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Okay. And everyone, I always forget this until everyone's always walking out, but there are some extra, probably lunches and maybe vegetarian. The pasta was very good back there. Please grab some of those before you take off. I want to thank everyone for all you do as Rotarians. It's just refreshing. Sometimes I just like to take a look around the room, and I appreciate the diversity of folks that we have in this room, and the fact that so many of you affect and make this community a better place in so many different ways. Even you, Bill. It's true. We all, I'm just kidding. Thanks for all you do. I appreciate it. Maybe it's this time of year or something, but I guess just continue to inspire others and continue to do and serve well in the world. Don't forget, Friday, we got restaurant fundraising. Don't forget Saturday morning, bell ringing, and I hope you can get that other spot filled for you, Paul. So everybody have a great day, and thanks for the great attendance online today. We have 19 total guests in the room, and we appreciate that. So everybody have a great day. Rotary is adjourned.